Welcome to Novi Sad, the administrative, economic, cultural, scientific, and tourist center of the northern region of Serbia, the province of Vojvodina, and the second largest city in Serbia. Only 85 kilometers from the capital Belgrade. The area of the city is 702.7 square kilometers. The number of inhabitants is about 350,000. We are only 72 to 80 meters above sea level, with a moderate continental climate. Novi Sad is also a part of the E75 highway that starts at the town of Vardo in Norway and it runs south through Central Europe to Serbia and ends its long journey on Crete. We are also a station on the Danube corridor, which connects the countries of Western Europe with the Black Sea by waterway. Serbia, with around 7 million inhabitants and Belgrade as the capital, once one of the 6 republics of the Great Yugoslavia, occupies a central position on the Balkan Peninsula. It borders Hungary to the north, Croatia to the west, Romania and Bulgaria to the east, and North Macedonia to the south. And if we are not a member of the EU, you do not need a visa to enter Serbia from any European country. Any document such as an ID card with a picture is sufficient. The official currency is the Serbian dinar. The both letters equal in use are Cyrillic and Latin. The majority of the Serbian population speaks at least one foreign language, and Serbia was ranked as the 17th country in the world by the overall knowledge of the English language. The city of Novi Sad is at 290 kilometers from Budapest, the capital of Hungary, 370 kilometers from Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, 800 kilometers from Prague, the capital of Czech Republic, 700 kilometers from Bucharest, the capital of Romania, 720 kilometers from Thessaloniki, town in North Greece, 1,000 kilometers from Milan, Italy, 1,650 kilometers from Brussels, the capital of the EU. It's only 85 from Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, which is also the distance to the nearest airport, Nikola Tesla. A short lesson from history of a city. Novi Sad is a bit under 300 old. The original settlement dates back to the 4th century BC, built on the surface of today's Petrovaradin fortress by Celtic tribes. In mid-centuries, due to its geographical position, the river Danube was a natural and administrative border between the two great empires, the Habsburg Empire and the Ottoman Empire, and Novi Sad as we know it today has embodied the best of both worlds. The Ottomans held fortress under until the 17th century, when the Austrians conquered it, and since then the Petrovaradin had been under the Habsburg Empire. Part of the population moved to the left bank of the Danube and built a new settlement Raka town, from which will eventually form the present-day Novi Sad. As the settlement grew, people of the settlement were eager to gain their freedom. They succeeded in their intention by negotiating a financial buyout from the Habsburg Empire. On March 15, 1748, the Habsburg Empress Maria Theresa officially issued the edict that declared Novi Sad as a free royal town with the Latin name Neoplanta. The cultural significance of the city was sealed when the oldest Serbian national cultural institution Matica Srpska was relocated to Novi Sad. The city's cultural and political scene flourished and the city gained prominence during the 19th century Serbian Romantic nationalism. Due to this, it is not unusual that Novi Sad is recognized in historical sources as the Serbian Athens, a very flattering name that glorifies the golden era of the city. Culture Capital 2022. For New Bridges is a slogan under which Novi Sad won the most prestigious title of the European Union in field of culture in 2016, the title of the European Capital of Culture. Holding the title of European Capital of Culture gives cities the chance to boost their image, put themselves on the world map, promote sustainable tourism and rethink their development through culture. Novi Sad is the first European capital of culture in Serbia. The year-long cultural program of Novi Sad aims to further connect the city's and region's cultural community and inhabitants with the EU and reinforce their links with the rest of the Western Balkans area. Exit Festival is an award-winning summer music festival that takes place at the Petrovaradin Fortress in Novi Sad, with more than 1,000 artists who play at over 40 stages and festival zones. The festival itself was founded in 2000. In the spirit of genuine youth rebellion, as a movement for democratic freedom in Serbia and peace in the Balkans, the festival's mission statement has been clear from the beginning: to achieve social change with music. It was officially proclaimed couple times for the Best Major European Festival at the EU Festival Awards 2007, 2013, and 2017, as well as Best Summer Music Festival in Europe title for 2016. In the summer of 2021, Exit was the first major European festival that took place since the beginning of the pandemic, with more than 180,000 visitors passing through festival gates for 4 days. The edition, which also marked the festival's 20th anniversary, was titled by many international media as a historical event. Taking all in fact, this gives you a wider picture about hotel and apartment capacities of the city as a restaurant, bar, and nightlife that city has to offer. Excursions that we plan for you. Petrovaradin Fortress. Located on a rocky cliff at the base of Friška Gora, on the right bank of the Danube, the Petrovaradin Fortress stands as one of the most complex, biggest, and best preserved marvels of military fortification architecture. Due to its unique geographical position, it is nicknamed as the Gibraltar of the Danube. The construction of the fortification as we know it now started in 1692 under the government of the Habsburg Empire. One of the construction masterminds behind the project was Marquis Sebastian Vauban, French general, architect and writer. It is particularly important that the fortress never fell into enemies' hands. As a witness to the safety of the fortress stands a legend that the Habsburg monarchy has hidden all of its treasures underneath the fortress after the empire was defeated by Napoleon in year 1809. The fortress was completely demilitarized in the mid-20th century and proclaimed for a historical monument. It was placed under the protection of the state and assigned to civilian use. The fortress is the home of the museum and archive of Novi Sad, hotels, and restaurant studios and galleries of artists. The clock tower is a distinctive sign of Petrovaradin Fortress and city of Novi Sad. The clock originated in Alsace, France, while Maria Theresa gave it to the citizens of Novi Sad as a present at the beginning of the 18th century. There's an interesting fact about this clock. Namely, the big hand on the clock shows hours, while the small hand shows minutes, so the time could be easily seen from a greater distance, especially by the sailors on the Danube River as they passed by. Clock is still operational and rings at the full hours. Sremski Karlovci. Moving away the Petrovaradin Fortress, we come across a romantic city of Sremski Karlovci, scattered between the green slopes of Friška Gora mountain and the blueness of Danube. The city is guarding the rich treasury of Serbian culture and spirituality in its edifices of priceless historical values. Sremski Karlovci is a city of vineyards which changed hands between great empires many times during its history. But that made this town even richer in its culture. Apart from being the spiritual center of the Orthodox Church, Sremski Karlovci has been the meeting point of cultural elites, poets, and prominent persons. Because of its close vicinity to Austria, and for the city's important role with the Viennese court, which was under the Habsburgs' management, Karlovci has been a city well ahead of its time. The first gymnasium, a high school for prominent students that prepared them for higher studies. Ever since the Roman Emperor Probus planted the grapevine brought from southern Italy, winemaking became one of the main branches of industry and professional occupation of Karlovci residents. One wine is worldly renowned. Bermet is a desert wine that originated and is produced only in this part of the world. It is so unique in its sweetness that, according to some documents, Bermet was served on the Titanic, as well as in the Vienna Royal Palace. The Friška Gora Mountain. Friška Gora is a lonely mountain in the Pannonian Plain. The highest peak is Red Kot 539 meters above sea level. Lower parts of this mountain are characterized by gentle meadows, wheat fields, and vineyards, while higher parts are covered with dense deciduous forest. Friška Gora is one of the largest areas under linden forests in Europe. On this mountain you can find over 1,400 different plant species. It's located just along the right bank of Danube River and spreads in direction west-east from Croatian border to halfway to Belgrade. In the endless greenery of these deciduous forests, 17 monasteries were built around 16th and 18th century at the time when the Orthodox spiritual centers moved to the north pressured by the Ottoman Empire. The monasteries were built in styles of Baroque and Morava architectural school of medieval Serbia, and even after centuries have passed, to this day represent marvels of Serbian medieval sacral architecture. Due to its riches in places of worship, Friška Gora is also called Holy Mountain or Serbian Atos. Between those beauties are the local vineyards with which Friška Gora is famous for. Vineyards at Friška Gora. For centuries the European courts were fascinated with the top-quality wines from the Friška Gora wine route, served even on the legendary ship Titanic. Around 1,700 years have passed since the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius Probus planted the first grapevine on the slopes of this mountain. fertile Pannonian land, centuries of experience in making wine and secret recipes have turned people of the Srem region into the most skillful wine growers and winemakers, and the town of Sremski Karlovci into something like a wine capital. Today, different sorts of this ambrosia can be sampled in over 60 family wine cellars on the Friska Gora wine route. Bermet and Osperch, the authentic wines for region of Srem, are pride and joy of winemaking. Sweet, very strong, and aromatic, these dessert wines with herbs made local winemakers were famous at European courts. The recipe for making Bermet is a well-kept secret passed down from generation to generation. And the recipe for Osperch, a dessert wine made of dried grapes, was passed down to local top winemakers from the court of Vienna at the time when the town of Sremski Karlovci was under the Austro-Hungarian reign. The best-known local white wine is the Italian Riesling, dry and semi-dry wine, that has partially sweet taste with a certain dose of bitterness and a harmonic smell. One cannot leave neither Srem region nor the Friska Gora wine route without tasting red wines made of the sweetest dark purple grapes with some fruits, herbs, and spices added. Sirmium, Sremska Mitrovica. Sirmium received confirmation of its exceptional importance within the Roman Empire when it became one of the 4 capitals of the empire. As many as 7 rulers of the Roman Empire were born in Sirmium or its surroundings: Trajan, Decius, Aurelian, Probus, Maximian, Hostilian, Constantius II, and Gratian. The city was the metropolis of Pannonia and Illyricum, an early Christian center until the year 1180, when the Byzantine rule disappeared forever from this land, and only ruins remain of the once glorious city. On the ruins of Sirmium, a new medieval city was born, the city of Saint Demetrius, the protector of the city, and the monastery of the same name, around which the new settlement began to expand. Total number of inhabitants is 79,940. Distance from Novi Sad is 59 kilometers. Archaeological sites with remains of buildings of ancient Sirmium, among which stands out the imperial palace, was built at the end of the 2nd or the beginning of the 4th century, an object of unique display of exhibits of inestimable importance. The luxurious interior decoration is evidenced by fragments of frescoes, mosaic floors, architectural decoration made of various stones that were supplied from different parts of the world, from Egypt, Asia Minor, Greece, Italy. It places Sremska Mitrovica among the most important cultural and tourist destinations on the tourist map of the world, followed by the foundations of the oldest Christian church in our country, a beautiful 2-century-old town center. From the southern slopes of the Friska Gora we take you north to the Zaraviza Museum. Novo Miloševo, a village that preserves one of the largest industrial and technical museums in Europe. It all started at the end of the 70s of the last century with grandfather Milivoje's idea to get a Ford Sun 10 to 20 HP tractor from 1924 that his father had and with which he grew up. Quite by chance, he learned from a friend that there is such a tractor in the central Serbia. He went to look at it and was surprised to find several similar tractors from that time there. At that moment, he came up with the idea to buy them all and thus somehow save the disappearances from this area. In the beginning, it was a small collection of a few tractors. It grew to the level of a respectable collection, unique in our country. It was collected entirely on domestic soil, which is another of its value. Today, the collection, which has been brought to the world level, is located on over 3,000 square meters and includes over 150 tractors. The central place in the collection is occupied by the oldest preserved tractor in the wider region, the American Hartpar 30 from 1920. That is one of 14 remaining specimens in the world. About 10 steam engines, about 40 vintage military and civilian cars, about 40 motorcycles, about 40 old crafts, about 50 stationary engines, a collection of radio, photo, and TV sets, and several thousand other tools and equipment. We are returning to Novi Sad in the 2024 Euro Vespa base. The Creative District. The location of Vespa Village for EV 2024. A couple of years ago, thanks to the project Novi Sad, European Capital of Culture City started the transformation of the industrial zone of 11,000 square meters. Location contains over 10 small and 7 large multifunctional spaces for different types of activities, conferences, panels, meetings, screenings, exhibitions, and even office of the French Institute in Serbia. In the creative district, once part of Great Liman Zone, the long-gone sounds of machines and tools of this formerly industrial zone of the city were replaced with the creative drive of contemporary creativity through infrastructure projects. Thanks to European Capital of Culture, Novi Sad managed to save this legacy and architectural heritage from destruction and turn it into a new district of culture, a new drive of culture and artistic events. What used to be tool factories now became the cultural factories and the new, renovated art scene of Novi Sad, and their aesthetics have served as an ideal environment for modern urban art. The location of Great Liman is on the bank of the Danube, not far from the Novi Sad city center, master center of city fair and bridges which are already recognizable symbols of European values, multiculturalism, and tolerance. This is why we decided to pick district as a home for Euro Vespa 2024 in Vespa Village in cooperation with city authorities and support of Mayor of Novi Sad. Vespa camp on banks of River Danube, City Beach Strand. Right next to Vespa Village location is one of the favorite places during the hot summer days is the famous Novi Sad bathing area Strand. Arguably one of the most beautiful beaches on the Danube, Strand officially opened its doors to public in 1911. Aiming to please the visitors, since 2008 Strand remains open all year round. Today, the city beach features 2 basketball courts, 3 volleyball courts, a mini golf field, a climbing facility, and several playgrounds. There are more than 400 trees, decorative plants, and lawns, all of which guarantee a rather pleasant stay. Lifeguard service, security personnel, and the police make sure all visitors are safe and sound. Throughout the season, which starts May 1st and ends September 30th, the itinerary is full of concerts, sport competitions, and various cultural events. Last year, Strand hosted the Beach Volley European Championship. 56 years in a row, the city beach has also been a must-see port of call for the Danube Regatta, the world's longest international regatta. The annual number of visitors to Strand amounts to several hundred thousand. Despite the modernization, the city beach manages to maintain the well-known charm of the good old days and is, therefore, still immensely popular with residents. Novi Sad Fair space for a gala dinner. The Novi Sad Fair is the leading fair house in Serbia. In addition to organizing fairs and exhibitions, it also organizes congresses and professional meetings, marketing services, and catering. The total area of the fairground is 23 hectares. In addition to the open space, 30 halls with a total area of 64,000 square meters are available to exhibitors. The Congress Center of the fair covers an area of 2,230 square meters and is a multifunctional space that, for the needs of congresses, seminars, conferences, consists of a large and 6 smaller, modernly equipped Congress halls. If necessary, the smaller halls can be converted into one space for large gatherings of up to 1,000 people, and the large hall has a capacity of 330 seats. Modern audio and video equipment, technical support for event recording represents a functional, modern architectural solution for the needs of corporate events, congresses, or other gatherings. Also, the possibility of using more than 500 parking spaces in the fairground area is important for the fair's business partners, and public parking lots in the immediate vicinity of the fair are an important advantage for organizing large events. Beside the excursions, Vespa Village with main stage, bars, food court, and Vespa Museum that will be organized in one of creative spaces. Saturday as a main day of event will take all participants on organized main ride from Vespa Village to wider central boulevards of Novi Sad across Danube River Bridge of Liberty. Through forest roads of Friska Gora to the town of Sremski Karlovci where pause was planned with small program and sandwich lunch. Further on we will pass Petrovaradin Fortress on our return to the city center where organization team had reserved pedestrian street in Old City Center for citizens of Novi Sad and participants to enjoy in Concorda Elegance. After which on a plateau next to Vespa Village we are planning the 2 new moments that we hope is something that from year 2024 it will be permanent part of Euro Vespa meetings. 1. Euro Cup Championship in Gymkhana. 2. Euro Cup Championship in Slow Ride. Our idea is to offer up to 6 competitors from each participating country in each of the 2 games. In categories automatic and manual, small and large frame, they will compete in groups in a cup system. The list of competitors will be submitted to the organizers by the national club of the country from which the competitor is coming, no later than 2 months before the start of the EV meeting. The difficulty of the course for the competition is set and organized by the host of the event. The jury that evaluates the regularity of the competition and the participants is composed of the organizer from the presidents and representatives of the national clubs as well as experts from the Serbian traffic police. The winners in each of the categories would be officially announced on the main stage of the Vespa Village on Saturday evening after the gala dinner before the start of the music program, where they would receive prizes from sponsors and organizers of Euro Vespa 2024. After which celebration and party with live bands and DJ will continue long into the night. Conclusion. We are assured that traditional Serbian hospitality, cultural and historic legacy, as well as the impeccable surroundings of the city of Novi Sad, would create a worthy next imprint on the Vespa meetings map. With the hope and enthusiasm that you will support our goal, it would be our great honor and a long-lasted desire to welcome you and your club members to Serbia as the Euro Vespa meeting destination for 2024. Wishing you all the best from Novi Sad Euro Vespa 2024 team.